Parsha's Terumah, we have, of course, the instructions of building the Mishkan, keli by keli. First one that we are told about is V'yasu Aron Atzei Shitim, making the Aron of the cedar wood, surrounded by gold. So we know the Aron, of course, stood for Torah. And that's where the Luchos were. And the Ramban, as well as other Mefarshim, point out that there's a discrepancy in the language of the Aron versus the language of the other Caleb. That the Aron says, V'yasu Aron Atzei Shitim. And from here on in, every time we're going to see instructions, it's V'yasisa. He's talking to Moshe, you make. When it comes to the Aron, V'yasu, they should make. And the question is why? He says, and the Ramban points out, okay, that every member of Klal Yisrael need to mishtatef in the making of the Aron. Bavur shu kodesh mishkanei elyon, v'shiyisku kulam l'Torah. The Aron represents the highest levels of kedusha. Shu kodesh mishkanei elyon, v'shiyisku kulam l'Torah, and that they should all, every member of Klal Yisrael, need to be involved in making of the Aron, unlike the other Kalim, the B'neira, and the Shulchan. They didn't have to be involved with that. But when it comes to the Aron, which represents Torah, which represents this concept of the highest forms of Kedusha, everyone needs to be zeichet to that. And by doing so, v'chein over Medrash Rabbah, and he calls it Medrash Rabbah, Neima b'chol ha'kelim kosav v'asisa v'aron ksiv v'yasu aron, v'asisa v'aron ksiv v'asu aron. So why is there a discrepancy? Amar V'yudah bar Shalom, Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu, Yovei hakol v'yisasku ba'aron shizku l'Torah. That everyone should come and be osek in the Aron, that they merit Torah. I mean, they're all going to merit Torah anyway. What exactly is the Ramban saying? What's this Medrash saying? Let's just finish up the Ramban. Ve'esek. What is this involvement? What is it that exactly that I want Klal Yisrael to do? I mean, you have 600,000 men between 20 and 60. How in the world are they going to make a relatively small Aron, few tfachim by few tfachim? What exactly is the involvement? Either that they should donate some of the gold to the Aron, which clearly is limited by how much gold can you have for a relatively small Aron? Or they can give B'Tzalel a little bit of help. I guess, pass me the hammer, pass me this, pass me that. I guess some type of Ezer. I don't know how much Ezer he needs, but I guess maybe they would rotate that, a line of Jews standing up, standing in a line. That every time he banged the hammer, maybe he needed something else to smoothen it out. Another fellow would come by. Or I guess at the end, when you couldn't get to everybody, there's no way to get to every single Jew, but yet every single Jew needed to be involved in the Aron. There was this responsibility of at least being mechavan l'davar. And the Medrash makes it a little bit clearer that through this kavanah, through this hisaskus, through this ezer ma'at, is going to be a deeper recognition about the importance of Torah, and that would somehow inspire the Jew to the recognition of how important Torah is, and get them to be further involved, or to be machshav Torah, that they should ultimately embrace that chashivus, that they can commit themselves to learning Torah. Because again, at the end of the day, this is all about Talmud Torah. It's all about being a machshav, the importance of Torah. That's what it represented. I mean, the mitzvos, the mitzvos are binding upon us on any level. This is the idea of the chashivus of Talmud Torah. And it's really remarkable. I mean, it's a day-to-day grind. Talmud Torah is, the idea of every single Jew feeling that Torah is their responsibility and that their chelik, I have a part in it. This is something that I can do and I have to do and I have to be committed to. I mean, this is sort of the long haul grind of life. This is what we have to do. 24, not 24/7, halavai 24/7, but certainly every single day, 354 days a year. So, I mean, what exactly is this one moment of being involved in the Aron going to do? And it's seemingly such a subtle involvement. So I pass the hammer to make an Aron. What exactly is that going to accomplish? And again, looking at the Lashon of the Medrash and the Medrash Rabbah, it seems that this small involvement is going to hopefully inspire somebody to focus on, what I'm making the Aron, I'm involved in the Aron. What do we put into the Aron? We put the Torah into the Aron, the Luchos into the Aron. So this makes me more sensitive to this is the centrality of my life. That Torah is so important, and that hopefully will inspire this person to be committed long-term to Torah and be fully bought into this concept that Torah is part of my life and I have to commit to it, I have to learn it every single day, et cetera, et cetera. Now, it's again, would you think that something that involves the long-term commitment, that every single day, it's a grind every single day, and certainly year after year, this is who we are, this is what we need, and the Aron represents that. So I guess it makes sense that we should all be part of the Aron, but is such a small involvement going to make a difference down the line as to, what a person feels a year or 2 or 5 or 10 later, that every single member of Klal Yisrael should have this special feeling and special connection? It seems like a very small thing to do to try to guarantee a long-term responsibility, acceptance of responsibility. I mean, it's seemingly almost insignificant, and mechaven l'davar, he's not even passing, he's just being mechaven. I'm sitting in Tveria and I'm thinking that they're making the Aron right now, so I'd love to be part of it, and I want to be hinei muchar mezuma to fulfill the mitzvah of being part of it without actually physically being part of it. I'm mechaven l'davar, I'm thinking about it. I'm focused through my intellectual thought. I'm emotionally connected to it. I mean, it's incredibly subtle, and I think the message for us certainly is, obviously we see how important Torah is. I mean, just on a general level, you see how important Torah is. You see that this is not something that a person can sort of feel, this is not for me. Every single member was required. The Asu Aron Shitim, you have that responsibility. No member of Klal Yisrael can feel, it's not my domain. I'm a different kind of Jew. I'm a non-Torah Jew. I fulfill the mitzvahs, but the idea of Talmud Torah, it's not for me. It's not for my head. Whatever. Clearly, that's not acceptable. That's not a possible thought that a person could have. But also that we see that how to never underestimate small movements and small gestures and small involvements in a process of appreciating Torah and getting close to the Torah. This is what we have to do because we never know. It's, again, I don't think this was a guarantee. This is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu's way of saying, everyone has to feel it, and let's do something for everybody that they have this connection. I mean, it could make the difference. You could just get up there every single day and remind every member of Klal Yisrael, okay, guys, it's Talmud Torah, you got to have this connection. But to be there at the beginning and to be part of the process, and to think that, the Aron is shayach to me, it's going to leave some type of maybe, indelible imprint. The possibility of that small kavana is going to make that long-term impact. And sometimes, again, we underestimate these things. What's the difference? I go to the shir, I don't go to the shir. I do something that, enhances my appreciation for Torah. I don't do something like all these things. We tend to sort of wash away as being relatively insignificant. And apparently it's not. We don't know when that small advancement, that small movement, that desire to connect to Torah, the walking up to kiss the Torah, the show of respect of everything that we do in terms of the chashivas of Torah could have that impact upon us, that could have a long-term effect. You see from here, just being mechavel, just sitting in the back of the shul, you don't want to bump people, you don't want to, knock people over, but the Torah is being taken out. You think about it, you internalize it. These are small things. You listen to a shir when maybe you don't have to, or maybe you're in the car and you could hear something else, but you want to. All of these things could make a difference. All of these things could have an impact. And Bez Hashem, if we don't have. Not yet. We hope to have the Aron back, but we in the absence of the Aron, this constant requirement that a person feel this is important. This is my chelik. This is something that we have to work on, constantly involve ourselves with, and Hashem, that will allow us to be inspired to learn Torah throughout our lives.